Hello guys! Today I want to share my brief thoughts on the pretty interesting action-adventure stealth game, A Plague Tale: Innocence. The story is quite engaging, although it's not without its flaws. It's emotional, dramatic, and filled with tragedy. You follow Amicia, an older sister, and her younger brother Hugo, as they struggle to survive in a France devastated by the plague and war, while uncovering the dark secrets surrounding both the plague itself and their own family. The story does a great job of keeping you emotionally invested. That said, some plot twists feel a bit forced, and several of the supporting characters are fairly forgettable. Even so, the narrative feels cohesive overall, even if it becomes a little absurd at times. The game itself is very linear. As you progress through the story, you'll move through beautifully designed but fairly corridor-like levels. Fortunately, there's always something happening, so the game maintains a good pace and rarely gives you a chance to get bored. The visuals are absolutely stunning. Beautiful landscapes are constantly contrasted with horrifying scenes of plague and death. Peaceful forests, meadows, streams, and country roads gradually give way to majestic castles and plague-ridden cities filled with chaos. Together, they create an atmosphere that is both breathtaking and deeply unsettling. The gameplay is mainly a mix of stealth, simple puzzles, resource gathering, and fairly basic action. There are plenty of small puzzles throughout the game. Some are very straightforward, while others make you stop and think for a moment. A major part of these challenges involves avoiding the swarms of bloodthirsty rats that constantly threaten you throughout the game. The rats fear fire and can be driven back with light or redirected using bait. You'll spend a lot of time finding ways to avoid them or defend yourself from them. The rats are also tied to several interesting gameplay mechanics, although unfortunately, some of the best ones only appear near the end of the game. Overall, the puzzles are simple but enjoyable, helping to break up the gameplay without becoming repetitive. The stealth mechanics are also fairly straightforward. Your main goal is to stay out of sight of enemy soldiers and, when necessary, distract or trick them using a handful of different tools. Unfortunately, the stealth isn't one of the game's strongest aspects. It's quite basic, and by the final chapters it starts to feel repetitive. Thankfully, near the end of the game, many of these encounters can simply be cleared by taking enemies out with your sling. Yes, the game does include some action. Amicia's main weapon is her sling, which allows her to eliminate enemies from a distance. At first it's quite limited, but as the game progresses you gain the ability to knock helmets off enemies and use different types of ammunition and alchemical mixtures. I wouldn't call the combat particularly exciting. It's fairly simple, but it does a decent job of adding some variety to the gameplay. The game also features a progression system based on upgrading Amicia's equipment. Throughout the levels, you'll collect various crafting materials that can be used to improve your gear, upgrade your sling, and unlock new effects for your ammunition and alchemical items. If you explore carefully, you'll have more than enough resources to fully upgrade everything before the end of the game. Unfortunately, only a handful of these upgrades genuinely change the gameplay or feel especially useful, while many of the others can easily be ignored. Despite all of that, A Plague Tale: Innocence is a very good game overall. It's beautiful, emotional, and pulls you into its world from the very beginning, carrying you through to the end of the journey. Because of that, it's easy to forgive its minor flaws, whether they're related to the story, the gameplay, or the occasional bug. For a little over 10 hours, the game makes you feel like you're part of a complete, atmospheric, and memorable adventure, and that's exactly what makes it worth playing. That's all from me. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Play good games, stay healthy, and may peaceful skies always be above your head.